Hello students, let's look at list methods, ways we can manipulate lists because they're a mutable data structure. So let's say I want a list of fruits. I could initialize a variable called fruits to store this in. And I could say I want this to be a list. And if I printed that out, you'll see it should just be, if I just clear my console, 2 square brackets. So I know it's an empty list. So that's one way of initializing a list. Another way is I could say fruits equals just an empty string. I don't know what they are yet, but I know I'm going to times that by 5. I want 5 fruits in total. So I could play that, and then you can see that the list has 5 items in it, 5 strings. It's an array. They're all strings, the same data type, and I can update them using some sort of loop. In fact, let's just do that. So fruit, I can use a for loop, and it's probably best that I have a number that I can access an index with. So I'm going to use a count controlled loop for I in range. So I'm going to say for number in range of 0 to 5. So that will give me 5 things because it does 0 as well. And the last item in my list of 5 things is at position 4, so that will be sufficient for me. I can say fruits. Well, let's say ask the user, so I can say user choice, right? Equals input, and then we'll ask the user enter a fruit type here. So they'll type something in as a string, and then I can say fruits at index number, whatever that is, equals user choice. All right, so let's run this. Enter a fruit type here. I'm going to say cherry. Let's use capital letters. All right, enter a fruit type here. Orange. Enter a fruit type here. Durian, spiky, stinky fruit from Asia, which is quite delicious. Let's say apple and pear. There we go. So if I then print it out, which I failed to do last time, then it would give me, so I'll just do this really quickly. Durian. There, you can see that list, cherry, apple, orange, pear, durian, has now been created using that for loop. So I could use a for loop to do something like that. We're going to talk about string methods here, right? So we'll just put a little pause in that. And how else can I manipulate my strings, my list? So I'm just going to wrap this in quotation marks for a minute or two, so you can have that, but refer back to it. So we've got an empty, I'm going to use this one. So I've got an empty list. There's nothing in it right now, and I want to add stuff to it. So I can use some built-in methods called append, like appendage, and then I can add cherry. All right, so if I play this and I clear the console, you can see that my list is completely empty, right? There's nothing there, print there. And if I print after I've appended, it should now have cherry in it. I have 1 item in my list. And I can keep appending if I like. An append, it always adds to the end. So I'm going to add an orange to this, and I'm going to print it out again so you can see it. So I'm adding items to the list. I mean, fair enough. But let's say I want to insert an item, because actually instead of orange, I wanted something else there next to cherry. So I can use insert to do that. So I'm going to use fruit.insert, and at index 1, I want to insert my durian as a string. Sorry. And then I'm going to print fruits again. And can you see here, it's pushed along orange because I've said, look, at index 1, I actually want durian. So I inserted durian into my list at a particular point, and that's important. So append is always going to stick it at the end. Insert gives you control over where you're putting it. Now, I did say I wanted 5 things, isn't I? So I'm going to append pair, print that out, and then I'm also going to insert at position 0 apple, and print that out so you can see the difference. So I start off with, let's just clear this and go again. Start off with an empty list. I appended cherry, appended orange, which went to the end. Then I inserted durian. Then I appended pear, and then I inserted apple at the very beginning in index 0 and shift everything else along. So I've got my 5 fruits in my array. So happy about that. But let's say I wanted to delete something from this. And there are 2 ways that you can do this. One is called remove, where you can specify. We'll do the most popular one, which is del, delete. So I can say delete fruits, but I have to give it an index. Okay, so delete the first item. If I wanted to delete apple, I could put 0 in here, and then I'll print it out again, and then you'll see that I've removed apple from it. I've deleted apple entirely from the list. So I can do that. I can also remove an item. So I could do fruits dot remove, and let's just say you don't like durian. I can remove durian, and durian's gone. So I've only got cherry, orange, and pear left on my list now. So those are the main ones. I mean, there are others. There are other things we can do like pop, but you just don't need to know what those are or use them for certainly for Edexcel. It's a bit overkill, and you also don't need to remember all of these. They are in a programming language subset document you get on the day of the exam. But it's worth knowing how they work and how to use them to manipulate lists and mutate lists as their immutable data structure.